Hello world, I'm Tomasino. This is Solarpunk Prompts, a series for writers where we discuss solarpunk, a movement that imagines a world where technology is used for the good of the planet. In her 2018 TED Talk, Keisha Howard said, "Advances in technology and science don't lead to a dystopia in solarpunk, but rather harmony with the Earth and a more egalitarian civilization." Or, as one headline put it, solarpunk is a Tumblr vibe. It's also a practical movement. In this series, we spend each episode exploring a single solarpunk story prompt, adding some commentary, some inspirations, and some considerations. Most importantly, we consider how that story might help us better envision a sustainable civilization. If this is your first time here, I'd recommend checking out our introduction episode first, where we talk about what solarpunk is, why you should care, and why this series came into being. Without further ado, today's prompt is the community center. A community center, library, or educational hub, initially set up to help people like coal miners re-specialize and find other jobs, has now become a place for unofficial pilgrimages of people striving to find their role in life and learn history from those who lived it. What I immediately love about this prompt is that it goes straight to the heart of what many libraries are used for today. This type of skill retraining or upskilling or professional development is in practice today around the world and probably at a library near you. A Pew Research study from about a decade back found that 1 in 5 library visitors attended a class, program, or lecture for adults. There are digital networks for skills development, which are rolled out throughout libraries as well, like CLIP in the UK. But this prompt takes us beyond even these extensive programs when it mentions re-specialization training for miners. This is a reference to an ongoing Scandinavian Union effort to modernize its workforce and prepare them for the sustainable practices emerging across the globe. One can easily imagine a community center filled with the types of training and resources found in a local library, and staffed with union experts who have gone through this sort of retraining process and can speak from experience. A place like that could exist today, down the road from where you are right now. If we'd let our imaginations take us just a decade or two into the future, it's quite conceivable to see these places becoming a sort of destination for those whose jobs are shutting down or no longer relevant. When entire industries are disrupted, where do you go? Who do you turn to? Do you fall back into unskilled labor? Is unskilled labor even a real thing? When there's a place, a community center, known to retrain people, to give new skills, to prepare you to pivot into something similar perhaps, or to lay the groundwork for something brand new, then there's a place for hope. It would be a place to humanize workers and give them a renewal. And who would you find there? Would it be professionals who went through the same process? Would it be librarians? Or the retired, perhaps, looking to stay in touch, socialize, and share their knowledge? It's not hard to imagine people traveling there, even over great distances, migrants of a sort, but better thought of as pilgrims, as they journey to this place of hope and promise. It all depends on the psychology of the travelers, and the mystique that may have grown up around the center. It's quite the picture, isn't it? This prompt does a fabulous job not talking about what's happening in the rest of the world. This place could be a pillar of hope in a rather dismal setting, or it could be a very realistic and modern view of a near future world. What I find most interesting to consider is the possibilities for what a community center like this might turn into once the world has moved on a bit more, when this is no longer needed by gig workers to retrain their livelihoods, when it stopped being crucial but the sense of hope has remained, and the wisdom of the teachers is still there for the sharing. How will pilgrims see it then? Will it be more like a holy site or a guru living atop a remote mountain? Will people come for enlightenment instead of PowerPoint training? These possible pseudo-spiritual lines remind me in some ways of the monks and monasteries in Walter Miller's A Canticle for Leibowitz. Rather than the depressing setting of a remote Catholic monastery hoarding scraps of scientific knowledge without any understanding of them, we're given a vibrant community setting where wisdom is sought and shared. What would a young, lost person do to find their purpose in life? An author could have great fun exploring the differences there. Alternatively, there's always the option of looking at internal struggles. Remember that in solarpunk, our protagonist communities may still struggle with the how. How do we best teach the community? How do we best act as servants for each other? And there are always many voices in community, differing opinions, differing strategies. The chief librarian that built the center could have vastly different ideas of how it should be run than the new guy, with his focus on efficiency and measurement. This type of conflict can make interesting drama, while still upholding the values of the genre. The desire to use technology, communal effort, infrastructure, and resources for the betterment of that future. That's all for today's episode. Before we go, I want to give a very special thanks to all the librarians out there. You are the living embodiments of the better future. I hope more of the world is like a library one day. Thanks for joining me. I'll talk to you soon on the next Solarpunk Prompt. Today's music was from Andy McDade, Ilid. From Solarpunk, A Brighter Perspective.